going to happen.
We're live. So no, it's going to need to come down.
I don't know if that's going to work too well. What's that? Okay, so how?
Empty, but I'm still doing it. Poor. I can't see the screen of the computer, so I don't know which ways we gotta go.
It's got to come my way. I think we had it lower last week. Like,
It was further back, that's for sure.
Yeah, now we can't really go much further back because of this.
well,
You have plenty of slack on the cable for the power. He was out the door last week.
No, that's not
So if I stay right here,
that's probably about the best
But we're not going to get any of you, Jason.
I don't give a shit.
I do. You're my third favorite member of the West Side Whiskey Committee.
Thanks.
Just kidding. You're obviously just like Schmitty Waver. Yeah, you're not
I'm
jealous.
in there. I'm in there.
Cool. Is that top of that mic supposed to be off?
oh, it came off when when Gino tried to take it with him. We can actually cinch this up. Sorry, buddy.
Two people watching us already. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow, wow.
Tuning in early as they watch us struggle.
Bam, bam.
Sick Flintstone.
Stop, take some time to think about what's important.
James, will you hand me my water?
Water.
Donkey shoes.
Donkey smells. Scotch. Jay. Jason. Mike. Average. 100.
The first thing that you see whenever you type in Wednesday night whiskey is a guy topless, holding up a fireball. Not us. So we should do a topless video where we
That's
hold up
fantastic.
Okay. Stop.
Topless fireballs are my favorite.
Think about what's important to you. Stop. Take some time. Do me a favor once and clip that the light on, just to see if it sheds a little more illumination. I guess the answer is no.
It's a little better.
It's a little better. I think it's a little better.
I think you're a little better.
I know, I'm a little better. What's that?
You're a little better. I was looking at this.
Who's looking
Alright,
at
I
us?
haven't yet got the show notes, but I think we can wing it.
Yeah.
Do we...
No. Do you not want them? I mean.
Oh, do you have them?
I have them.
Then send them. If you've got some, send them.
You'll have to come off airplane. Preparing padiff. To Jay Favors. Michael Vino. Send. Okay. We're exciting, aren't we? Hi.
And round one. Or is that 5?
What? People?
Yeah.
5.
Jesus, why? Can we see their conversations?
I don't know.
What's it say turn on?
I'm turning on.
Gentlemen, Mr. Siegel. And Jay. Fuck off,
Hi,
dude.
Kevin.
Yeah, we can see them this week. That's awesome.
Neato.
Yeah, real time chatting.
Send us something to talk about, people.
What would you like us to talk
What would you like us to talk about?
Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll. Sure.
Ready, Jason?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. And we will be ready in 3.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jay from the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee here with another episode. This week, before we get started, like I said, my name is Jay. With me this evening, as always, my 2 cohorts, the Red Warlock, the Man of Many Mysteries, the magnificent bearded one, the Professor, John J. Feathers.
Good evening.
And across the table, the handsome man, the sexiest man I know, next to me,
Hell,
I mean,
right.
Jason. I mean, look, he's pretty, okay?
That's
Co-host and co-founder,
3 of 3 is not bad.
Michael J. Cavino.
Hi, everybody.
And we have another episode here for you today, which we have a few things to go over. But before we do, as always, let's present arms. I almost got ahead of myself, way ahead of myself.
What are you doing?
I have no idea at this point anymore. I'm just ready to drink. As always, this week I'm presenting the Kimber 45 ACP Ultra Carry 2. And as you can see, it is empty.
Clear.
Clear. Mikey.
I am presenting. It seems like it was freshly cleaned. Is that correct?
Yes.
I felt it. The Dan Wesson 44, as you can see.
Clear. Give the folks a spin. Yeah.
All right, Kev, we can talk about that.
I am presenting the Browning High Power Mark III, and as you can see,
It is clear.
how do you see that?
I don't know.
I watched it on the YouTube.
Watching on the TV.
Kevin says, how about we talk about the New York Times review of Conor McGregor's proper whiskey? At home, I presented my H&K VP9,
Beautiful.
and my girlfriend has verified that it is clear. That is proper viewing technique.
That is. That is.
Somebody pull up the
If we had
review
whiskey, we'd toast it
of
already.
New York Times Conor McGregor.
I think they said it sucks.
Just like he did in his fight on Saturday. That sucks.
So let's get into the media and the minutes that I have here. For those of you listening at home on the podcast, we are trying something brand new this evening. We are doing a 2-microphone setup now. There is one solely on me, and then there is one that are co-hosting. Co-hosting? I did it again.
Co-hosters.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Co-hostees.
That are facing directly towards
I think
Michael
it's
and Jason.
Co-hostlets.
That's it.
Co-hostlets? Nice.
Co-hostlets.
Can I change my name?
To co-hostlet?
No, I'm gonna be Empanada Jones.
Yeah, man.
That's my new moniker.
Okay.
So we got a microphone, 2 mics in the room. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear us better on the show. And for those of you at home on the watching on YouTube Live, things go in stages. Yep, right up there. Things go in stages. Eventually we will get a better microphone for the camera. Give us money. We'll get there.
Speaking of that,
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
just back off a little bit. It's just just a little higher than the rest of it.
okay.
Is he high?
Am I high? Can you tell?
You're higher than me?
Are my eyes red?
Your eyes are red.
Mikey, do you have any donuts?
Do I?
I've never had any donuts. That's why I'm asking.
You had some today.
No, I didn't.
I watched it.
Oh. So, as always, for those of you who tuned in on YouTube Live last week, we greatly appreciate it. It did mean a lot to us. We had somewhere between 8 and 10 people hanging out all night with us. That was kind of cool. And also, we've already got people on the
We do. That's
people
awesome.
watching on the show already tonight, which is awesome.
It is.
So this will be a reoccurring thing every week. Sorry if it takes us a little longer to get set up, but we are having a good time.
I think they enjoy that sneak peek behind the
I think they
scenes.
do. That's where the episode
Kevin
came from.
Siegel was sneaking a peek.
He was sneaking, checking out our pipes, our cleared pipes. What day was that? On Friday,
What day was it?
I received a text message from Whisketeer Jeremy Nixon, and he said that he was at a tasting event with, oh dear God, and I hope I say it right.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna go with?
I'm going to go with Wiggle.
That's what I would go with.
I think it's Weigel, but I think I'm going to go Wiggle.
I'm gonna wiggle my wiggle.
That's fine.
All right.
He had a tasting party with Wiggle, and he basically talked us up. And
Because that guy's cool.
he is very cool. And they said that they're interested in getting together with us and doing a little something. So hopefully, eventually, we will end up out in Pittsburgh to do a tour of the facility and whatever else
and dare I say, they make some pretty good whiskey.
They do. We have not yet featured it on the show. However, it is on our to-do list. Please be patient. Next bit of news I have, the Firefly collection.
Firefly.
Try it again. Jay talking, take two. The Firefly.
Wait, you can do that better.
Sorry. Jay talking, take two. The Firefly questionnaire will be posted after the show. We do have one or two more questions that we want to add to that. So be prepared. Probably next week's show, more than likely, will be the Firefly episode. However, if we have to push it back another week, we will. You'll find out. You'll be the first to know. Trust me. I'm still prepping the Battle of Pennsylvania episode, so stay tuned for that. I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row before I start blasting companies on Facebook and be like, yo, what's up? So other than that, guys, we have, if you weren't aware of this, we have social medias.
What?
Yeah, it's true. We have the Facebook.
Where have I been?
I don't know.
Damn.
You've been hanging out with Mario.
I guess I have.
He's okay.
He's all right.
We have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter. We have an Instagram. We have a YouTube channel, which you are checking out live right now.
Apparently, some people know that already.
They are. They're checking it out. We're up to 6, 5. Well, we lost one.
Hey, get back on there.
Get it back on a thing. Did you? Oh,
What
you're
happened?
awesome.
I shared it to the Facebook, so if they didn't know, they know now.
Whoop, whoop. So,
And if you're
we
watching
got
in
the
future
YouTube.
again, hi from the past.
I know. That's
We have
freaky.
we have an email if you'd like to speak with us directly. That's WednesdayNightWhiskey@gmail.com. We do have that going on. If you are interested in some of repping this fine show, you can head over to redbubble.com /people/WedNightWhiskey and get yourself some fine ass threads. On top of the pants that are going to say we shit on everything, I think I'm going to have Mikey make a pair of pants that also say fresh ass threads.
Mike says no.
He just said no, so forget about
Certainly not worth my
that.
time.
We have a Patreon,
We shit on fine.
which as soon as these glasses are poured, we do have a new Patreon member after last week.
That's right, we do.
We sure do. And what Patreon is, guys, is if you feel like giving us a donation, which is a reoccurring donation per episode, if you want to donate $1, $2, $3, whatever you want to do, we will charge the account every week when we post an episode. And we use that money to turn around and buy more things for the show to keep the show running.
You know what I'm not sure of?
What?
How do you spell that?
How do you spell Patreon?
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked, actually. That is www.patreon.com.
Wow.
Like a machine in this house.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can, like I said, check that out. They're always doing promo codes. I just skipped. I'm back on Redbubble. Sorry. Give us your money that way.
Patreon
Talking
are
about
doing-
Patreon doing.
Yeah,
Listen, we will do promo codes for Patreon.
Yeah, no, we won't actually.
I don't know how to do
So like I said, with the Patreon, if you don't feel like giving a reoccurring donation and you want to do like a one-time sort of deal, you can head over to our coffee site. That's ko-fi.com / Wednesday Night Whiskey. You can send us a cup of coffee, which is the equivalent of about $3 or $4, I believe. And again, we will use that to further ourselves in the show. And we just don't mean the whiskey. We mean like we are still looking for business cards and banners and posters and things to try to rep ourselves a little more professional like. So if you can give a donation, we appreciate that. Also, if you want to cut out the middleman completely, say screw that guy. We just want to give it directly to the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. You can send us a message. We do have a PayPal account. You can wire us the money directly without. What do you got there?
Oh, no, nothing.
Oh.
Keep going, Jake.
They're trying to sneak ahead and peek at the whiskey.
We are.
And short of that, I think that's all of the media and the minutes that I have for this week. Like I said, we do have a new Patreon member. So we're up to 2 now. Woo! Send us that money. And we also have a new whiskey to feature this evening.
We do.
We do. I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm really excited to be getting back to Scotland.
Yes.
I know. That's what
Jason,
yes,
take
sir.
us away.
I'm going to take us to Loch Lomond, my friend.
Ooh.
Tonight's whiskey is indeed Loch Lomond, original single malt Scotch whiskey, carefully matured in the finest American oak cask and smoothed to perfection. A little history about the distillery. The Loch Lomond distillery was first established in Ayrshire in 1814, but closed about 3 years later. There's a little dispute as to when that actually happened, but pretty much all sources agree that distillery did not stay open very long. And even though these guys are claiming a descent to a distillery that goes back to 1814, the present business was really established in 1964 by the former owners of the Little Mill Distillery in Bowling. Production began in Loch Lomond the following year in 1965. In 1984, the distillery stopped production until Glen Katrine Bonded Warehouses acquired the businesses, and then they resumed production in 1987, malt production. Grain whiskey production began in 1993, and they added 2 new malt stills in 1999. At the time the grain distillery opened in 1994, it was indeed the only distillery in Scotland producing both grain and malt whiskeys. It also operates a unique setup of 3 stills, which is kind of neat. They have like this open back thing that allows they bleed off certain amounts of things that they claim they can actually affect the flavor of the whiskey by the amount that they bleed off through the vents in the back. So it's kind of interesting. The former owner of Little Mill, Duncan Barton, developed the current site for the Loch Lomond distillery. He brought the innovative pot malt stills into play there. Traditionally, like I said, the necks of the malt stills are open. His are actually closed, so you can bleed them off there. The Loch Lomond stills include special distillation trays in the necks, allowing for greater contact with the cooling alcohol vapor, said to make the process more efficient. These stills can produce alcohol up to 90% by volume, where most normal stills actually deliver about 70. This is 40, I believe.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. This style still allows for different flavor notes to be captured and emphasized throughout the range of alcohol strengths that can be captured or rejected. This is much more difficult to achieve through a conventional pot still. In 2014, the distillery was acquired by the private equity group Exponent alongside their management team, and they have a variety of grains and malts that they put out. This is just the Loch Lomond original. I do have a bit of a pop culture reference for you, Mikey.
Finally.
Yes,
Loch Lomond is the brand name of the Scotch
Whatever
whiskey consumed by Captain Haddock and Belgian cartoonist, and I'm going to maybe kill this, Jules Rémy's famous comic book series, The Adventures of Tintin.
Huh.
So, with no further ado, let's go to Loch Lomond.
Now, is there a year on this? I couldn't find
They do not actually, in any way, shape, or form that I could tell, disclose how long it's aged.
Okay. And
It's
then,
aged in American oak, but they won't tell us how long.
before we get to this, do you want to let them know how much this bottle was, Jay?
The thing was right around the $25 mark.
That was a good.
It was nice. It felt like it was under pressure.
Under pressure. Oh. It's got
Wow,
a nice
who
color.
knows? It does have a nice color. That was that Vanilla Ice song we were just doing, wasn't it, Jay?
Yeah. Under pressure by Vanilla Ice.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I noticed on this bottle, I was looking at it while you were giving us some history, and it kind of brought me back to Larceny when we were drinking Larceny. And I remember the first thing that stood out to me on Larceny was the fact that they were recommending cocktails with it.
Right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
this bottle here, I noticed, says something very simple.
They do.
It says
I know.
perfect anytime straight, over ice, or with a little water. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're telling you,
They're
like,
telling you to drink it.
don't fuck with
Drink
this.
the whiskey.
So, to our newest Patreon,
To
Yes.
our
Patreon,
oldest Patreon,
to Scott Knoll.
Love that guy. He got in touch with me this week. I'm looking forward to hearing back from him. So, Mr. Noah sent you a message, and get back to me, buddy.
And our newest Patreon member, Rick Wirtz,
Ricky Wirtz.
Whisketeer, longtime supporter of our show. Long time. It's been 10 months. I guess that is a long time.
I mean, in relation to the history of the show. Yeah.
I think just Rick Wirt's a longtime supporter of us. in general.
In general.
Amen to that.
Rick Wirtz is
Yeah.
just a badass dude. To Rick.
To Rick Wirtz. And to everyone at home, cheers.
YouTube. It's got a nose that's very interesting. It's like strong and then it's not.
The finish is totally different than the nose.
Well, the nose is kind of oaky.
The nose is certainly oaky.
Yeah.
It's like they. I hate to say this, boys, but it's almost like fake peat is in there.
Yeah. But you don't get any of that in the taste at all. I'm not getting any. I don't know. Not what I was expecting.
No, me either.
The Highland scotches
Highland.
are very. Well, I wouldn't say they're known for being less complex, but they're
Not for
definitely
being less complex. They can be a little more floral,
Yeah.
which is I am getting that out of this.
And I see it. I don't know.
It almost reminds me of the McClellans. A little. Because I'm smelling this, and all I can remember is the smell of Tim's place. So
It's kind of floral in the same way too.
It's definitely more similar to the McClellans than a McAllen.
you know
Absolutely.
the there's the overbearing floral that I feel. Reminds me of the Tomatin that we tried.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
This is why I love scotches, but this is why Highlands are not my favorite.
Exactly. Mine too. Let me get back in here one more time before I rate
Hey,
it.
Mike, get in there.
I'm ready to get back in.
Mikey likes everything.
I'm all ready to try to open this baby up and see if we can't improve that guy.
Yeah, it's almost too floral for me.
It's definitely too floral for me. Like definitely too floral. It even says on the back that there's a bit of peatiness to it, but I'll be honest with you, it's not. It's overpowered by the flower.
She's in bed.
Flower power.
Well,
I don't-
ready to rate her.
I don't know.
We got comments on there. What are they saying?
Has anybody out there had Loch Lomond?
Nah, so far it's just okay. Cheers, Kevin.
Cheers. Slancha.
Well, I think I'm ready to give it a rating. Timeout?
That helped it a lot.
I mean, I didn't put as much in as I probably should have, but the little bit that I did add to it did seem to.
That actually helped it quite a bit. This
Yeah.
is a whiskey that I would definitely recommend.
I mean, they do.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
I don't think it saved it for me, but it definitely
That
improved
changed
it.
a good bit for me.
Yeah.
What do you got, Jason?
I'm gonna give it a 70.
Wow.
That's pretty much exactly what I was thinking. 70. Like I said, I think adding a couple drops of water will open it up a little bit, give it a little more complexity, and just give it a little longer of a finish. But
That's what it did. It gave it a little longer finish.
Yeah. I'm a little curious. And while I'm looking this up, I want to apologize.
We've been waiting, dude.
I said last week. That Timmy's episode was episode 10. It was actually episode 11.
Dude,
People
I'm
were
telling you,
writing
that's
in.
been
People
bothering
were,
me
yeah.
all day.
I've got hate mail over it.
I'm serious. I couldn't sleep.
I'm almost right in line with what I felt the McClellan's was. My initial reaction on the Scotch range of this. I'm going 68.
What did I give McClellan's? Because that was, I believe, before we implemented.
Yeah.
Based on the.
McClellan's, you gave a 69.
Okay.
Jason as well.
How about that shit? So for me, here's how I view it.
And I would say I like this more than the
I
McClellan's.
do too. I like this more than the McClellan's.
Probably like 1 point higher.
Like 1 point higher. And I mean, for me, I look at it like this. Everybody may envision their scale a little bit differently. I guess I'm just sort of going by the old school academic rule that 70 is passing.
Yeah.
And for me, this is just right in at the skin.
And I'm interested on how I would feel about this if it was like the fifth single malt Scotch we've had in a row, because this is coming off of how many weeks straight of
I have a
Irish
feeling that
blends and bourbons.
I have a feeling that if this was the 5th single malt Scotch in a row that we had, it would rate a lot lower.
It would be in the 50s.
It would be in
maybe
the 50s,
59,
yeah.
60, yeah.
69 is the average out of 100.
69, dudes.
Do you give it a star?
What was the
For
price?
$25, I'll give it
25.
a star and recommend it. Yeah, for $25, yeah.
I'm going to give it a half a star, but I'm going to give it a recommendation.
Well, I think this is going to fall into the sure category that I have on the rating system. There's yes, sure, and then no.
Well, that's definite.
So
I'm going to go ahead and do it just because of the fact that it is.
you said a half star?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a $25
Right.
whiskey.
That's why.
And
I
I'm going to give it a
recommendation.
half star as well. You said you're going to give it a full.
I mean, for $25, I'll give it a star. What? Let's think about other $25
Right.
whiskeys.
Of course.
So that ends up being a 2 out of 3 star, and we do recommend it.
Yeah, I'd still
Yeah.
recommend it.
Sure, that's the
I think
sure.
Problem
It's got
is
a pretty bottle.
It does. Everything about it suggests that it should have been
badass.
a lot better than what it was.
I think the problem with us is that we are whiskey snobs with gutter purses.
Yeah.
With highbrow taste
No money.
and
Well, speaking of terrible whiskeys, I would like to go to Kevin's suggestion and talk about Conor McGregor's whiskey.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor. So, if you're not familiar, Conor McGregor is an MMA fighter. Kind of started from the bottom and then rose through the ranks, being known for his pretty
shenanigans.
powerful. Well, no, not initially.
Not initially, no.
He had a powerful left. I mean, he's a southpaw and he's a striker. Like,
Right.
he will knock you out. And he finished many fights in the first round, many fights in the first 10, 15 seconds of the fight.
Mhm.
Like, if he lands one on you, you're going down. So Just a little backstory on him. Went undefeated for a little while, lost one or two. I think he ended up losing
What's up,
two.
Al?
Yeah. And then he won the title, and then he decided he was going to jump up a weight class, which is pretty unheard of. So then he jumped up a weight class, lost, and then won the rematch. So he had 2 belts at a time.
And then he didn't defend them for like 2 years.
He
Right?
stopped fighting in the MMA. He said, now that I have these 2 belts, I'm done. I've succeeded in everything I wanted to do in the MMA world. I'm going to boxing. So then he challenged Floyd Mayweather to a fight, Floyd Mayweather Jr. And that was one of the most, I mean, not to say that they aren't all boring, but it was such a boring boxing match because that's all boxing is these days. It's just hug me until the round's over.
Yeah.
Let's do this 10 more times and see who the judges pick as the winner. So he lost that, didn't get knocked out or anything. It was pretty terrible. But then, like Jason said, he didn't defend his belts in the MMA, and Dana White stripped him of his belts. So he dropped down from being champion in both weight classes to being number 1 in both weight classes. And the way that they do that in MMA is kind of weird. It's like you're a champion or you're number 1, 2, 3, 4. So he was no longer champion. But while he was doing all that, he had a kid and started a lot more business ventures, partnerships with partnerships with the MMA. As Jason alluded to, the better he got in the octagon, the more cocky he got, the more shenanigans he had. So it kind of became more of him trying to make money than to really care about his reputation, his fighting, and what he had to offer. And that's kind of paralleled in his whiskey, it seems. So as Kevin suggested, he has a new Irish whiskey out called Proper Number 12. It's a blend, and the Business Insider review of it just rips it to shreds.
Do you know what? Does it happen to mention what distilleries make? Is it? He's Irish. Is it coming out of Ireland, or is it an American?
I have to get through all the absolute disintegration that people are doing to him. I'm just liking these quotes. I gotta read some of these. So I'll find out what the distillery is, but just a couple notable reviews of it. It smelled like ethanol and tasted only marginally better. A small initial sip was deceptively okay, but subsequent snifters were like vanilla flavoring trying to cover up rubbing alcohol. It tasted like bad whiskey watered down with cheap vanilla extract. And the guy that reviewed it, markets expert Will Martin, says, I'm happy to be quoted on that. So let me read a little bit about it here. McGregor's used the world's oldest licensed whiskey distillery in Ireland and worked with David Elder, a master distiller formerly of Guinness, to create unique spirit from the waters of St. Colum's Rill that flow through the alkaline saturating limestone and basalt on their way to Saphagam Peat Islands. This helps acquire the flavor that has been prized for centuries. At least that's what the company says. $30 a bottle. Alex Lockey, a news editor at Business Insider, says, I've drank a lot of bad whiskeys in my day, and this was one of them. So yeah, it just seems like not getting the best reviews. But it's like I said, it's to be expected because he's pure businessman from this point, so it's all about selling. If he really cared about his brand, it wouldn't be $30 a bottle,
Right?
And it would have some quality control. We got a comment on there?
It was Kevin saying that he claims it's coming out of Ireland.
Okay, yeah, that's what they claim.
Yeah.
It's one of Ireland's oldest distilleries.
It's coming from Ireland's oldest distillery. Which I don't know off the top of my head which one that is. I feel bad about myself.
Yeah, and Kevin's not the first person that has brought that to our attention. I think my buddy Mark Reddy yelled at me. He's like, have you guys checked this out? And I said, yeah, we saw it. It's been rated horribly. We're probably never going to touch it.
Yeah, that's actually from reading that and seeing what I've seen. actually a whiskey that I have absolutely no desire. I don't care about trying it.
Yeah, none. That ranks right up there with Cuddy Sark as far as I'm concerned.
I bet you Cuddy Sark's better.
Is that a challenge?
That would mean we'd have to partake of both of them. So
Yeah, no. Cuddy Sark wins. So that's cool. Thanks for chiming in on that one, Kevin.
Has anybody out there had it? That's another question
Yeah.
I'd like to ask.
If you've have you had it?
Oh.
What?
Yeah, like that.
Have what?
That.
Had it?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
had it?
There it is. Perfect.
Have you had it?
All right, fine, whatever. Jason, do you have any updates from the richer
From the richer
the richer realm,
or richer world.
the Witcher realm?
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Richer world. Actually, there's not much going on there right now that can be confirmed. As of October 8th, there were some rumors floating around that Millie Brady, who I actually know as Ethelfleth from BBC's Last Kingdom, but she was in some other things. Apparently, she was in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and a few other things. Is rumored to have been cast as Renfrey, which will not be a major character. And apparently, it's a tragic character. The rumor has it that she's really only going to be in the first episode, and really all she's there to do is to do a nude love scene. So, what I found interesting about that is Netflix maybe, ramping this up a little bit, making it a little bit more risque, which could be good, could be bad. I don't know.
I don't know. Like I said, I think from the beginning they kind of were trying to jump on that whole void that Game of Thrones is going to leave. And
Yes.
if you are familiar with Game of Thrones, you are familiar with their, I would say, prowess for nudity. Is that a good way to put it? I mean, full boob, full bush, full dong, whatever they want to do, they do it there.
Right.
So.
So that's really the only rumor that has been out as of late, and like I said, that's unconfirmed. The Witcher casting assistant Faye Timby, interestingly, followed Millie Brady on Instagram the day after the rumor was released. So, I mean, is she messing with people or not? I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something interesting. I mean, up to this point, the only confirmed casting is Henry Cavill. I didn't see. There really wasn't anything else going on too much.
There was some
That world.
directors cast.
Yeah.
I know one of the main directors did a few episodes of Game of Thrones. He did the first half of the first season. I think he did the cinematography.
Okay.
He was the DP on it. So it seems like they've got some talent behind the camera. So let's hope they get it in front of the camera.
I think they will actually. I mean, I still have hope for the series. I'm hoping that it's pretty dang awesome.
Speaking of help behind the camera. Sorry, I gotta steal the thunder there for a moment.
I do an awesome job, yeah.
Yeah, he does do good, and I also help. So
Yeah, so I mean,
the little blurb I saw today. Hopefully, the DC universe is getting a new breath of life. Hopefully,
that's a segue.
It was a segue. Getting a new breath of life with there are in talks with James Gunn. Hopefully, he's going to be involved in the next Suicide Squad movie. The article I read said that it's not going to be a sequel per se, but hopefully it's going to involve some of the same characters.
why? You said hopefully it will involve some of the same characters.
Well, we know why I want it to be some of the same characters. But
There was not. I read after you sent that link. I read that Dave Bautista has gone out, and I don't know if he posted to Twitter or just said publicly that he wants to be in it. And he sounds like the ideal friend, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Because he goes out and says like, the people writing his paycheck were wrong for firing Gunn,
Mhm.
and that he will step down as Drax because he supports his friend. And then he goes on to say, I want to be in Suicide Squad because my friend is directing it. And like that's the kind of guy you want in your corner.
Yeah.
He doesn't care so much about paychecks. He cares about doing the right
You
thing.
want to see the integrity. Yeah.
So I would be down for him as Bane. That would be really cool.
Oh God, that'd be
It'd
fantastic.
probably be.
I think he could pull it off.
I think he'd be a very good Bane.
I wouldn't mind Harley Quinn coming back. I don't need Will Smith playing Will Smith again.
Jesus,
I don't
good
need
God, no.
bad accents. I don't need.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even see the movie, but when you said Will Smith, it hurt me.
The worst part was Joker with a grill. That was
Oh
the
my
worst
God!
part.
See, I couldn't do it. Jay, you've told me multiple times.
I liked it. So
Wait, you said like?
Mhm.
I was so scared off by everything I saw leading up to it that I didn't go see it. And I mean, my
I paid to
kids
see
saw it; they liked it.
I paid to see it too.
My wife saw it, and she said that it wasn't as bad as she expected it to be. Now, with my wife, that could be a lot of things. Like, she could have expected some pretty bad shit. So,
Right.
I don't know. But I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment too much on the original one there.
Like I said, I didn't mind it. I liked it. I've seen it a few times. I own it.
The idea of Joker with a grill really kind of hurt me.
See, and I share an unpopular opinion there because, like, I didn't mind his version of
Right.
the Joker.
Right.
Now,
I didn't see it, so I can't.
how much input he had into the costume, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
did,
right,
did
right.
the grill bug me? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
My biggest issue was he had big shoes to fill with Heath Ledger, and they knew that, so they took this character in a completely different direction.
I think that scared them off.
But he stopped being a Joker. Like, if he had been a different villain that was, for whatever reason, in this universe with similar... He just had nothing in common with the Joker other than his relationship with Harley Quinn.
Right.
He didn't need to exist. I don't know. I could go on for 4.5 hours about why that movie was trash pandas, but...
I can't add anything. I didn't see it.
But since we're right there, the only other little blurb I saw today that I thought was kind of cool was, and I will post a picture of this on the link on Facebook so everyone can see what I'm talking about. They are going to be doing another, I'm going to assume, I don't know whether it's the CW show or whatever, but the new Batwoman show that's coming out.
I'll definitely post it.
They revealed her outfit today.
And the her you're referring to?
Ruby Rose.
Yeah.
Not happy with that choice, Mike.
I don't want to sound so negative, but she can't fucking act, and they keep hiring her.
I'm not sure I know who she is. I have to look her up.
Did you watch John Wick 2?
No.
Yeah.
She was the one that can't talk. Did you watch Orange is the New Black?
No.
She's a face. That's all she is, because she has not one acting bone in her body.
Okay.
So she fits for the CW, but at the same time, did you like the costume?
I like the costume.
Did you? It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I think the quote I saw was for a small screen budget, it's as close to the comic book as they could have made it.
Was she? Did she have red hair?
That's
in the
cool.
comics?
I don't know.
Okay.
But as far as the and now that you say that she was in John Wick 2, I can now know who she is.
They didn't even give her a speaking line in it because of how bad she is at acting. I thought that was hilarious. She still sucked in it, and she didn't have one speaking line. They made her mute.
Actually, that's a pretty cool costume.
It's not bad, yeah.
Yeah. We're getting notes from Rick Wirtz.
Uh-oh.
You are twice as loud as the others. I don't know how.
We sound checked. I swear to God, we did. Rick.
Well, he's not hearing this.
No,
mic.
he's hearing
that.
this microphone.
Oh.
And you're right on top of it.
You could probably face it towards us then. 'Cause
Yeah.
Jay's louder than.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's not going to affect the recording at all.
All right, we'll try that.
Try that. Rick Wirtz.
What do you think now, Rick, buddy?
Give him a minute. There's like a delay.
He'll get it.
He'll catch up.
He'll get it.
What else did we have? That was pretty. Oh, I posted again with what that? That's what it is. More feathers is always a good thing.
Seconded.
I'll
drink to that.
I posted.
I will drink to that.
I posted a poll.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel.
On our Facebook page a few days ago. For anyone who watched the season premiere of Doctor Who and the reveal of the 13th Doctor, who I personally, Jodie Whittaker, I thought she was fantastic. I'm off and on with that show depending on who the Doctor is. When they rebooted that thing 13, 14 years ago, or however long it's been now, the first guy,
I'm really lame because all my Doctor Who experience is like ancient, so I have no.
I still haven't seen an episode.
I didn't mind David
ever
Tennant.
of any.
I think I may have watched one episode in the background of playing a game of Magic the Gathering.
I kind of liked it. I mean, like my experience with the show is like literally when they would like have like a lighter on a string and it would go across and that's
so
the
it was like
spaceship.
Harryhausen.
Yeah,
type
right. It was
effects.
total
Okay.
Harryhausen. effects, yeah. I imagine they've gone pretty far since then.
Yeah, a bit.
They have a huge following.
Huge.
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan
what army? But no. So if you saw that poll, let us know what you think in the comments on our Facebook page. Like I said, I liked her. I thought she was great. I didn't like the last guy. What was his name?
I can't remember his name. He was from The Leftovers. I'll find it. Kill Time. What is this Looking It Up brought to you by?
This Looking It Up is brought to you by Loch
Lomond.
Lomond. I said it wrong again.
Loch
That was like me
Lomond.
trying to remember how to pronounce Auchentoshan.
But now listen.
Christopher Eccleston.
Sure, him.
That's who it was. It was old Chris Eccleston.
In my opinion, Alexander Ovechkin lookalike.
Let me see.
Who the hell is that?
Wow.
He was the Doctor.
No.
Yeah.
Oh well, he was. He was the original reboot, but the guy that they just did the last few seasons, I forget. He's an old guy, has white hair,
There's only one of those,
and big eyebrows. Type in the 12th Doctor.
I was told he was the 9th Doctor. So who was the 12th Doctor?
12th Doctor was Peter Capaldi. That's his name.
Oh yeah,
Good old Pete C.
Good old Petey C.
Double C.
I couldn't stand him. Like my sister, she absolutely adored the ground that he walked on.
Really?
Yeah, he could have put his sonic screwdriver in her all day long, as far as she was concerned. But
I think we just lost it. I think
we earned the E tonight.
We just earned the E tonight.
But like I couldn't. It put me off. He was on the show for 3 years, and I watched like 1 or 2 in the beginning, maybe a Christmas episode a year or 2 ago. But I was like, done.
I had no idea that you were like such a Whoite.
I'm not really.
Sounds like you are, Jay.
I'm a Matt Smith guy. Like Matt Smith was my doctor.
Okay,
The
but
Doctor
let me
before-
tell you something. The more you talk,
Is Doctor Who likes the Elder Scrolls series? Let me explain what that means.
Mike,
Scott
I would
Pickrell
love
told
it if
me.
you explained. what
Scott
that meant.
Pickrell told me that everybody's favorite Elder Scrolls is the one they played first.
Not true.
Really?
No, not true. Because like I said, my original introduction to it was David Tennant.
Okay,
And
and
I
so
was-
he's not your favorite Doctor.
No.
Okay.
And I
Which
was kinda
Elder
like-
Scrolls did you play first?
that I played first
Yeah.
was
Or
Oblivion.
no. What's your favorite? I guess I should ask. What's your?
To this point,
Yeah.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
But what did
It
I play
kinda has to
first?
be,
I
right?
played Oblivion first.
I mean, it kind of
I
Skyrim kind
couldn't
of has
handle
to
it.
be your favorite one, right?
Not Scott's.
Nah. What's his?
Morrowind.
Morrowind.
Well,
See, for me, it's kind of hard going back to, after seeing Skyrim, going back to the quality that the graphics that Morrowind was. I'm like, I can't do that.
I have a
If you get hung
real.
up on graphics, it's hard.
I have a real thing about Morrowind because it's probably a fact that I block a lot of that out
I remember you
because
saying so. Yeah.
it really took me hard. Like
Yeah.
it was really. I can say to this day that no game on earth has ever possessed me as hard as Morrowind has. I'm pretty sure my wife thought she'd lost me.
That was me in Skyrim.
Yeah. Are you? Did you just catch a butterfly? Yeah. Are you picking plants now? Yeah. Is this fun for you? Yeah. No, like 8 hours later. Didn't you already pick that plant once?
It grew back.
Grew back. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Morrowind really it hurt me pretty hard.
And it was you who was trying to coax me through Oblivion, going, they fixed that in Skyrim. You just give it time.
Just give it time. Right. They did.
Get through the game. And I finally said, I can't do this anymore. I've had enough. And Jason said, just play Skyrim.
I kind of thought
and be done with it.
I didn't mind Oblivion. Oblivion was the first one I played.
Okay.
And I didn't mind it, but Skyrim took me over.
Yeah.
I called off work for that game. I dreamt about that game. I ate.
See, I lived in Morrowind for quite some time.
Yeah.
I'd literally play it for like 8 hours at a stretch and then go to sleep and continue the adventure in the dream world and then pick it up. It was really, really bad.
Yeah. And I'm with Jay. I got hung up on the graphics and I couldn't keep it up.
And I also want to bring this point up. It's completely off topic. What's that?
I just want to see what this comment. I can't read from here.
Best video game experience from each of you, perhaps. Maybe top 3.
Top 3? We can do that. We'll get to that in 1 second. Everyone says Khajiit for the categories. I think that's a joke that the originators of the game put in there. I think it should be cat shit.
You think so?
I think they should be cat shits. Yeah, I just wanted to say that.
I appreciate that.
Boo-doo. Somebody agrees.
I forgot to turn off the notifications again on that laptop. Oh well.
So top 3 video game experiences. Is that
tough.
what the question is?
Yeah. Best video game experiences from each of you. Top 3.
I mean, I almost have to put that into like eras. Because I mean, like, there's like 9-year-old me playing Defender for hours that was pretty awesome and definitely took over my life. But I mean, just when you have to compare it to playing Skyrim or something modern, like it doesn't.
It's hard to compare.
Or there's like old school Metroid has a lot.
Yeah,
I
know my top 3 already, just because it's. If I'm going in the order of which it happened,
you're probably wearing the right shirt for this, aren't you? You're gonna show your true colors.
There are 2 of the 3 are on the shirt.
You are going to display your true colors.
Number 1, which will always be number 1.
Wait. Before you do that,
yeah,
I hate when people start top lists at their number 1. So start at
number 3.
Number 3. Yeah. Number 3 for me would have to be on the SNES. That would be, and this is appearing twice.
Give me an honorable mention too.
Honorable mention, Skyrim.
Okay.
That's going to get my honorable mention. Number 3 would be A Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Mm-hmm. That's number 3. Number 2 is Metroid. Mm-hmm. And number 1 is the original Legend of Zelda.
Right on.
I never spent more time. Actually, when it comes to being obsessive compulsive about a game, it wasn't until, because when the first Zelda game came out, I was still just a kid. Like it came out, I think, and I was 5, maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
And of course that was a difficult game for my age.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get into it until later. But it was A Link to the Past, where like I was sitting in class drawing maps.
Right.
And trying to figure out what I was going to do when I got home.
Right.
That I spent more time in that game originally than any game up until Skyrim.
Okay.
Basically. I put a lot of time into Super Metroid, which is a huge game for me as well.
Dude, Super Metroid.
And of course, like once I got bit by the Assassin's Creed bug.
See, that's what I thought was going to be at least an honorable mention. That surprises me.
It's if there was a top 10 or even like a top 5,
okay,
that would be Assassin's Creed would be in my top 5.
Do you have one in particular?
The one that I spent the most time trying to perfect was Assassin's Creed: The Brotherhood.
Okay.
I spent way too much time in that game. But that'd be my top 3. Legends of Zelda, Metroid.
I'm also assuming we're talking console here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, One of mine's not going to be console, but I'll do mine.
Okay.
So, my top 3, I would say number 3 was, honorable mention I'll give to the first time I played Wii Sports with my parents, because I
Okay.
never had that experience with my parents.
Right.
Yeah.
And that kind of just gave the world of video games and accessibility to people who never really had an accessibility to it. I mean, my grandparents are in a bowling league at their building, the Greystones, and it's Wii bowling. So it's just
That's
crazy how that
fantastic.
exists. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's an honorable mention. Number 3 would be playing Halo 2 matchmaking with my buddies' LAN parties. Because that was the first game that we actually had LAN parties where you bring over consoles, you bring over televisions,
Mhm.
you have 4 different setups in 4 different rooms of the house, and everybody's playing together. So that'd be number 3. Number 2 would probably be playing GoldenEye every summer.
Yeah, that was another big one.
I never
GoldenEye
played
007.
GoldenEye.
And then number 1, while I would say my number 1 favorite video game is Banjo-Kazooie, because it's just like nonstop fun the whole way through. My number 1 probably video gaming moment would be the game Terraria, which is like a world building, quest having kind of dungeon crawler game for the PC. And I've put hundreds of hours in that game with my friends. I did it when I was in California and they were in Pennsylvania, and I
Right.
did it when we were both in Pennsylvania. We've had times when we played it all in the same room, so it's just one of those games where you can just pick it up and play it whenever. So that's my 3, I think.
All right. I'm gonna go with the subtext that Morrowind doesn't exist.
Okay.
Because
I don't even know what you're talking about.
blocking that out of
Yeah.
blocking that out of my mind right now. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest and say that my list could fluctuate. I don't have anything hard and fast. There's a lot of games I could put on. Baldur's Gate. I spent a lot of
Oh,
time.
Oh, God, me
you know
too.
what I mean? Stuff
I
like
just
that.
forgot that existed until just now.
Well, they've made enhanced editions for Steam, so you can play it. Oh, yeah, it's good. Oh, we could play together. We could all start a party and we could lay
Well, I played Baldur's Gate.
for the Xbox.
No, it was on PS2 at the time.
Oh, yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Shadows of Om, is that it?
No,
What was it?
Well, there were.
They did make it for
Yeah.
a console, but
Yeah.
it wasn't
that's the
the
one
original. Holy
yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Right.
Jesus.
I'm going to go with a few of them in the last decade that have got me, only because, like I said, some of those old games were really fantastic, but they don't really hold up to the games today, only because they didn't have the ability to be developed
Sure.
like modern. I would say that, and this one's for my dude Lee Dog, because he and I just have spent countless hours playing this game, but War in the North. Lord of the
Oh,
Rings,
yeah.
War in the North.
Yeah.
He and I will sit down and rock to that. And then I'd probably have to say that, number 3 would be Fable.
Mm-hmm.
Which Fable? First one?
First one.
I like Fable 2 a lot.
I like Fable 2 quite a bit. Or would it be, it's either that or Second Knights of the Old Republic. That was pretty...
Yeah.
I'm still going to go with Fable. I'm going to go with Fable because I'm going to just lay my nerds right out on the table right now.
Please do.
And
Is that great? Is that a great nerd?
it's a great nerd. So then I'm going to go with number 2 would be Witcher 3,
Gwent?
largely due to Gwent. Largely due to Gwent. But I also just think that
I think I know what his number 1 is, and I'm excited to hear it.
no, man, I'm going right. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to say it right there
Skyrim.
because I'm going to do it because it's the greatest fucking game ever. It's Skyrim,
It's
man.
gotta be Skyrim.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I know it does.
I-
What would you think I was
I
going to
thought
say?
you were going to say Red Dead.
That up till yesterday was my 3rd favorite game of all time. I actually just told Tim High yesterday that, hey, Tim, I'm going to toast to you. Now, Tim's going to try to convince me tomorrow or so that the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or whatever it is the greatest game of all time. And Red Dead really is. I usually do say it's my 3rd favorite of all time, but as I was mulling it through, man, Fable just kept, you know what I mean? Red Dead, though, I don't know, dude. I mean, have you ever played that game? No.
No, we were talking about that before. I did watch the trailer for Red Dead 2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm going to have to get this game.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
It looks so good.
My biggest issue with Rockstar right now is the games are too big. Like, I
hear that.
I love Grand Theft Auto. Like, Vice City was one of my favorite
You want to
games.
know what's screwed up? I've never played Grand.
Really?
I've never once played it.
They're great. And like I said, Vice City was amazing. And then I got through Grand Theft Auto 5. I got in an airplane, and I flew, 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 and I didn't hit the edge of the map.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
It's too
Yeah.
intimidating. Fallout 4, I stopped playing for
Right.
the same reason.
Same
It's
thing.
too intimidating.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that's what Red Dead 2 is going to be.
You know, man, I'm just hoping it is because I just want to go as deep as possible.
Yeah, it will be. I mean, they know what they're doing.
The first one was. Did you play the first one?
Mhm.
That game really rocked my world.
Yeah, it was deep.
Yeah, it was really good, and like the same way that Witcher 3, you know, is it largely due to Gwent. Is I love the fact that the original, or not the original Red Dead, that was
Right.
but Red Dead
Redemption.
Revolver, I'm sorry,
Redemption.
yeah, now Red Dead Redemption. All the mini games were just so badass.
Mhm.
I hated horseshoes though, man.
Yeah. I didn't like the racing or whatever you did in that game either.
Yeah. Oh, Bonnie McFarlane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
We got Kevin's top 3 here. The honorable mention is Super Mario Brothers.
Right on.
Number 3 was GoldenEye.
Right on.
Number 2 is BioShock Infinite. And number 1 was The Last of Us.
I was wondering if any of you guys were going to mention The Last of Us. I never played it. I have a feeling if I did, it would be right up there.
I did play it. However, it's not as big as what you think it is.
I've said that before.
That's Nathan gave me his top list of video games, and Last of Us was on.
Some people I
It
know-
was a very, very good game. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I can't wait for the second one to come out.
Some
finally.
people I know who I really respect and share a lot in common taste with often.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I know I missed, but as far as like open worldness exploring, no, it's pretty set on. It's an A to B sort of game.
I like the idea that the AI actually adapts to you, though.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not like you can always stop and turn around and go back and explore,
Right.
but you can't go past what it doesn't want you to go past. Like
Mm.
it's still in.
I'm definitely an explorer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Rick Wirtz chimes in and says, "What game were you the most pumped to beat?"
Good
Game
question,
was I the
Rick.
most pumped to beat?
Mine was a game that not many people have played, but it's called Stuntman. And it was a game that me and my buddies sat around and played, and we probably put a good month into this game. But you had to be so precise with every action. You played as Hollywood Stuntman. It was a car racing game, but you had to do turns, you had to back up, you had to jump over ramps, but you were being filmed, so you couldn't mess up once during the entire run. So we were playing it on like the expert mode where you couldn't fuck up once. So it would be times when we spent a week on one mission, and when we finally 100% of that game, it was like we won the Stanley Cup. Like it was incredible. Like by the time you finished it, because one person would have the controller and everyone would just watch them, and you would literally have to memorize the level. You'd be like, I'm turning left and I have to turn right suddenly, and I have to brake here, and I got to back up, and then and you're just like at the end of it, you're sweating, and like you finish, and everyone's just like, yeah. So it had to be that one.
That's
Not an
awesome.
amazing game, but an amazing experience with a group of people.
You got one?
Yeah. I was tempted initially to say that like the first time you beat M. Bison in Street Fighter 2 was pretty awesome, but actually I'm going to go back to like 6th, 7th grade and hanging out in Ann's Groceries with like the local hoodlums in Hollidaysburg, which really weren't that hoodlum, but we thought we were. And they had a game there called Satan's Hollow,
Okay.
which as you played it, got progressively more and more and more apocalyptic as it went on. And I just remember pumping quarters into that thing. It was, stand up. I have no idea. If I'd invested all that money, I'd be a millionaire today, but nobody could really, at least none of my group. We always got to the end and got to the end and got to the end and then got beaten. And then that first time when you actually like beat the game, because remember how like a lot of old stand-up games, there was a definite end.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I remember the first time that I got to the end of that thing. I mean, it was like I won the lottery, man. It was just pretty awesome.
That's real easy for me. The first time, if this was a top 10 list, this would have definitely been on it. The first time that I had beat Mega Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I got into it, again, as a youth, when I first had that game, I couldn't find Mega Man 1 anywhere. Everyone had 2. And when you go through all those levels, you beat all those robots, and then you go through Dr. Wily's first portion of the game.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the end, what you think is the end, you
You're
have to fight all those robots again. I was like, yeah. So, it took forever to get through that. And then to find out that you don't have to beat Wily once, but you have to beat him like 3 times.
Yeah.
It was like the game that never ended.
Is that the one where he had like a dinosaur form? Was it that one, or was that 3?
No, that was 3, I think.
Okay.
2 was where he jumps in the spaceship and becomes an alien or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was just, when that was finally over, it was just like, I can do nothing else. I have done this. It'll be on my tombstone. Beat Mega Man 2. Because everything else after that seemed a little easier somehow.
Yeah.
It was kind of, they sat back and went, they found out.
Well, did you ever go back and play those games?
Yeah, they're still difficult.
They're even harder. And
I know.
go back and I'm thinking, how was I 10 and beating this game?
Right,
I was 31 and I can't even get past
when
the
you were
first
10,
level.
you had time.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Muscle memory.
But yeah, it was a lot of just repetitive losing.
I think it's getting better.
No, for me, it's getting worse because I've slowed down. Like
really, see the Loch Lomond has gotten better for
You
me.
got any more?
Well, actually, I wanted to bring up the point that Al Scarton has a badass game on his list. We need to say what his.
What does he got up there? Honorable mention: Star Wars Rogue Squadron.
That game,
I watched him play
dude.
that. I got motion sickness so bad.
That was one of the first games I had it on computer, and I actually went out and found a better controller because I had to play that game.
I spent more money renting that game from Blockbuster than I paid.
Number 3 is Gauntlet.
Gauntlet, good.
Yeah.
God.
Which Gauntlet, Al? You gotta hit us up. The original console.
Arcade?
I think it's the original arcade.
Yeah, that's like an arcade. I don't know that we played the shit out of Gauntlet on the GameCube.
Yeah,
we did. We probably burned through like 3
What's he
controllers.
say?
arcade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 2 is GoldenEye, and number 1 was ESO.
Yeah. Scotty still plays ESO. And that's the nice thing about multiple MMOs.
Yeah.
They've got updates, they've got patches, so.
Did you guys ever play for the PS2 console the original Two Towers and Return of the King games?
Yes.
I had a lot of
They were a
fun
lot
with
of fun,
those too.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you pick between Legolas, Gimli.
Yes.
Aragorn.
Yeah.
It was,
Helm's Deep was hard.
Helm's Deep was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a fulfilling battle.
It really
Kevin
was.
says game I was most pumped to finally beat was Dragon's Lair.
You know, I thought about that when we were talking about it, but that was such a thing. Kevin and I are of similar age, and the hype around that was just amazing when we were. That was like a serious thing to beat Dragon's Lair.
I like Dragon's Lair.
Oh yeah, Dirk Darren.
I probably played it. I was that kid that went into. At the time, we had Quick Flick Video up in Evansburg that I spent a lot of time, or I forget what the one that was out in by Hills. What is now it's Specialty Promotions, but there used to be a video game rental store there, and I probably rented at one point everything on that shelf for several weeks at a time.
I've only ever played that as a stand-up. I never played it. And see, I never beat it, actually. And
Dragon's Lair?
Yeah, and that's probably the reason, because when I was a kid, man, you needed like $10 to beat that game. You know, because it was, I never played it on a
probably
console.
played it, but I'm drawing a blank on as to what it is right now.
If you looked it up, you would know it. Here, I'll look it up.
It's animated.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cartoon style.
It's very Disney style.
It does, yeah. Think of
Black Cauldron? Did you ever play? Or
Totally.
Did you ever see the movie Black Cauldron?
Totally think Black Cauldron, man. It's very Black Cauldron-y.
Oh, okay. I remember now.
Pretty awesome game.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Laserdisc.
It was
video game.
basically a bunch of cutscenes.
Originally
Pretty much,
released
yeah.
for arcades in 1983.
Oh, man. I'm old, dude.
Yeah, you are.
That's cool. But if I was a
Who
bottle of
was
scotch...
that? Was she in that game? Jessica Rabbit wannabe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was the...
Every layer needs a princess.
Every layer needs a princess.
Yeah. So.
She's no toadstool.
Well, thanks for the input over there.
Yeah,
on
thanks
YouTube.
for chiming in there, guys. That always helps.
I think that about does it for us. So.
Are we done?
Pretty good
You guys-
episode.
We have to ask the viewers,
Yeah.
listeners.
You guys done? You want us to keep going?
Why don't we ask them? What are you listening to this week?
Yeah, that's coming up next. So get your picks ready.
Yeah, right.
We'll start the closing of the show with the topic that we always talk about every week. The original idea posted by Mikey in the pilot episode, which is what are you listening to this week? And before we do, I'd like to remind those at home we do have a Spotify playlist. If you just search. Google search the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee playlist on Spotify. It'll show up, I promise you. If you're having a hard time finding it, go on Spotify and search my name, Jay Smith. You will find it under my playlists.
That's JAE.
JAE. It grows by 3, sometimes 4 every week, so make sure you're paying attention. And this week we will start with Mikey.
So I am listening to an album that I had hinted at being released in October, probably about 4 or 5 episodes ago. But Gregory Alan Isakov had a new album come out, Evening Machines, I believe it's called. Evening Machines. And I've been kind of trying to do the thing where I listen to it a bunch to see if I like it. Not that I dislike it, but it's just underwhelming to me because he is one of my favorite musicians. And there's a lot of I don't know. There's a few songs on it that just leave you.
Have you ever encountered, and I mean, stay with your pick here, but have you ever encountered an album that upon initial listening was underwhelming and then later on turns out to actually be one of the greatest albums of your life?
Yes. And that's why I've been doing that with this album.
Right,
Because
right.
Bon Iver's newest album, 22 Million, I hated. Absolutely hated that album.
Right.
And then I think I've even mentioned it on the show before where I've listened to it so many times that I either have Stockholm Syndrome with the album or I've grown to love it. But it's just to me, I'm absolutely enthralled by it. So This one I'm trying to do that too. Just trying to give it its fair shake. To give you a song from it, let's do the song Caves because I do really dig that song. I think it's a great one for the album. That's one that every time it comes on every replay of it, I'm happy to hear it. So
Sweet. Jason.
I've been listening to a podcast. I've been listening to something called the Blacksmith's Pub. Only because I've, recently we talked about last episode, been getting more into that mindset. And
not to interrupt, but have you started back up with Hardcore History?
No.
I know we talked about it at work, but I'm so excited for the Peter Jackson movie.
Yes.
I didn't know if you
No, I haven't actually. This has been a week where I've had really not much time. So, yeah, I mean, when I say I've been listening to this podcast, I might have 3 in. And it has to do with the fact that I just no time.
Sure.
So Kevin wants us to stay all night. No.
But I've been listening to this podcast only because they're talking shop, they're talking different hammers, they're talking different approaches. It's 3 or 4 guys. Sometimes they have a guest. They always start the show with, "What are you drinking?"
Nice.
And, I mean, that's a good thing for a
Start all
podcast.
of our shows with
I
what are you
know.
hammering?
What are you hammering this week? So I've been listening to that.
Too soon, Jeff.
Sorry, buddy.
No. It's just kind of cool to hear guys, getting some ideas, seeing how it works for other people. Because one of the things I've noticed about blacksmithing there are definite techniques and orders of operations that seem to work in general, but it's an art. Everybody seems to need to find their own flow and their own particular details and how they're going to make it work for them. So I enjoy listening to some other people who do it in order that I can get a feel for what works for them. You know, if I'm going to throw out now, I have to throw out an audible.
You sure do.
All right, due to that, and it's October, and it wouldn't be October if I didn't get a little bit of spooky music in there. And even though this isn't very particularly spooky, I'm gonna. I thought Mike almost snaked this one last week, but it's gonna be the Misfits Hybrid Moments.
We were just singing that before the episode.
Yeah,
and I thought that was going to be your what do you listen?
Only because it contains the line "When do creatures rape your face?" I mean,
What album?
Is that on Legacy of Brutality? I believe. Yeah.
I believe it is,
Yeah. So, I mean, there's probably 27 versions of it out there.
I appreciate that we have two Misfits Static Age. It was on Static Age.
It was originally released on Static Age. Yeah.
Two Misfits songs in the month of October so far.
Well,
actually, mine was in September.
Yours was. As it ramps up here, I'll be doing more Misfits Samhain kind of feels.
Yeah.
It's that time of year, boys. Right?
True.
Right.
My pick this week comes from a suggestion given to me by one of our coworkers, Sydney Pitney. She said, "Have you heard the new 21 Pilots album?" And I went, "No, not yet. I didn't know it was out." And I know, I guess I'm one of the few guys that enjoys 21 Pilots, I guess. But so their new album that's out, Trench is what it's called. And my pick this week is the song Chlorine. It's a pretty good tune. At least that's what I thought. That's the one that caught my ear the most.
You'll be playing it at work, I'm sure.
Probably not.
No?
Nope. I could, but it would probably get too annoying for the likes of...
Well, the problem is I'll be watching Alice Cooper live in Brazil. So.
Let's see. We got...
Is that still on YouTube? We have to check every
Yeah,
once.
I gotta check.
We gotta check every once.
Kevin says he has been revisiting Steve Vai's The Passion of Warfare record.
Passion and Warfare.
Along
For the love of God, I'm not a big Steve Vai fan, but dude, for the love of God, did you ever hear that song?
Yes.
Whew.
Yes.
This is I can't see. Along with a steady diet of scatterbrains, Here Comes Trouble.
Right on.
This week, Al is listening to the Badleys River songs, and my favorite track off of that record, I Liked You Better When You Hated Yourself. That's a fantastic song.
I don't know it. I'll have to look it up.
Yep. I could sing it right now.
Do it, man.
I'm not going to.
All right.
Start it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We used to drink a Bacardi.
Okay, I am Michael.
Oh, son of a... Get my gun.
So does anybody want to change their rating on Loch Lomond before we end the
How's it do it?
I'm happy with that.
I would actually lower my rating.
Wow.
I don't. So if you want that to happen,
I don't. It's up to you, buddy. It got a little I'm not saying it got anywhere close to changing my rating, but
I'm more interested in revisiting this than the swill we drank last week.
that's a good question. If you had to pick,
I bought Tin Cup.
if you had to pick between Defiant and Loch Lomond, what would you pick? It's not a hard choice for me. Actually.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, given the choice, I would always take a Scotch over a bourbon.
Yeah.
But I would probably want this chilled with several.
Adding a little bit of water definitely helps.
Yeah, I don't think I added quite enough. To be perfectly
I
honest,
think maybe you could do with an ice cube in yours. I think that would probably do.
Yeah,
I would open it up, it would mellow it out, and it would chill it.
Wow, what kind of purse do you think he needs?
Well, I've already seen his purse.
All right. I mean, that was harsh, dude.
it's a fleshy purse.
That was harsh. I mean,
No,
suggest.
no.
All right, you done? Anybody else out there? Nope, that's it. All right.
Al just says do it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Guys, that effectively puts the cork in this week's show. Thanks again for tuning in this week, and make sure you tune in again next week for another live broadcast from the YouTube live channel. This show will air tomorrow, officially on the Wednesday. We greatly appreciate all the Whisketeers from new and old, from day 1 to day 282. It really does mean a lot to us. And again, I know it sounds like a broken record, but we really cannot stress that enough. Thank you so much for tuning in every week and finding what these three knuckleheads talking about is somewhat interesting. So
I think we should toast the Whisketeers.
I think we should toast the Whisketeers. I still got a little bit left in here. Now, why I'm about to drink this, I don't know.
For the
Whisketeers,
Whisketeers.
I got a hair in there too.
It's not Gino's.
That's not Gino's.
That's true. Cheers, boys.
And go.
Slancha.
With that, I am Jay.
I am Michael.
I am Jason.
And we are the Wednesday Night Whiskey Committee. Please listen responsibly. Cool. And done.
Switch me,
Is
buddy.
that still broadcasting?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Switch me, buddy.
Switch me so I can do the edits to the video.
Guys, we appreciate you stopping in
Thank
again
you
this
so
week.
much.
We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.